Hello, Leo, and welcome to your September 2025 tarot card reading. Thank you all so much for being here. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Jane. I'm so happy to have you here. So let's see what comes through for you, Leo, for the first, this is because I'm late in delivery on this reading. We're going to carry this over into October. So next 4 to 5 weeks from now. Okay, so we start with the Emperor here. We have the Knight of Wands, Two of Wands, Justice, Nine of Swords. Okay. First week of September, I know we're past, but has been incredibly eventful. So on August 31st, we had Pluto moving out of bounds, which of course affects you as you're opposite of Pluto right now. We had Saturn re-enter Pisces, we had Uranus stationing retrograde, and now today we have a full moon eclipse, a very powerful one in Pisces. Moving forward, though, from this point, you seem incredibly empowered. You may have had to make some very difficult decisions in the past few weeks, or maybe there have been certain events that have occurred that kind of like, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that, or oh, that wasn't the way I thought it was going to go. And you're just in a position where you have to kind of react and respond to that. But I see that you're in a solid place with this Emperor card, right? That you are looking at things with integrity and honor, and there's still a warrior under here. I'm seeing lots of warrior energy with the Knight of Wands, and now the Emperor, as we can see, he's got his armor on underneath his robes. He doesn't always fight, but when he needs to, he can certainly be in the trenches. I think right now, Leo, perhaps you might need to be in the trenches a little bit. There's no option for avoidance here, right? There's a lot of confrontation. So whatever is going on in your life, I don't see you just pretending like it doesn't exist or kind of hiding away from it. I see you confronting it head on and saying, okay, let's deal with this. Let's go with it. Let's make these choices. Let's make these decisions, because more than anything, it seems that Leo wants this period of expansion. Okay, Knight of Wands is always looking for like what comes next. And I think the Emperor is probably here dealing with things that are, I don't know, maybe things have come to a head. Maybe things have like roll. I don't know how I'm the visual I'm getting. It's like it's rolled into this point, right? It's come to a head. It's kind of reached this point of compression, so you have to deal with it. But it's almost as though you're dealing it with such grace and such dignity and such honor and integrity, and you will do that. But there's another part of you that's like, okay, it's time for the next chapter. And these are not really affecting one another. You're still here closing things out, dealing and confronting. Simultaneously, you are still building the future. You're still looking toward what comes next. And there's a lot of excitement and enthusiasm and passion for what comes next as well. It doesn't seem like Leo is going to be held back or feel depleted by what they're having to deal with here with the Emperor, because there's often a lot of responsibility with the Emperor. And it's common to feel depleted, but I just don't think so. The Knight of Wands is so light, and it's so upward thinking, and it's so positive, and it is so like difficult to bring a Knight of Wands down. And it just feels like you're carrying both. You're kind of wearing both crowns here. Okay? This is what's pushing everything forward. And the fact that you are confronting everything and not letting anything just sort of fester means that there are some big doors opening up for you. Okay? It's really important that you do act on things right now, Leo. You don't want to just wait and see how things are going to... Now, there may be things with this Justice card. I'm going to skip that Two of Wands for a second. But there might be some things that are out of your hands. Like maybe you're waiting on divine timing. Maybe there's an institution involved that you have to kind of wait. Maybe you're just waiting for the pendulum to start swinging the other way. It often is just that there are things beyond your control. And yes, you do have to wait a little bit, but this is the part of you that doesn't have to wait. Okay, it's almost as though the Emperor and the Justice card are tied. So whatever he's dealing with, whatever he's focused on right now, yeah, there might be a bit of a delay. You may have to just sort of sit and wait to see how things transpire. But that does not conflict with the growth and the progress and the development and the adventure of the Knight of Wands. You can do both simultaneously. And actually, I think the more you lean in on this Knight of Wands, the more optimistic, the more future focused you are, the more likely this is to work out in your favor. Okay? I see that you have a vision, Leo. A very clear vision, a very clear idea of what you want, what you're aiming toward. And of course, this goes hand in hand with the Knight of Wands, because where is he going? Well, he's going exactly the place that he was visualizing. I just, when I'm looking here, I see a lot of freedom. It's like conflict with things that make you feel free and conflict that don't necessarily make you feel free, especially with this Nine of Swords, which we'll talk about in just a minute. I'm not getting the worst feelings about this Nine of Swords. I do think this Nine of Swords is associated with something with the past. And again, I think you're holding two completely separate vibrations. You're holding this passion with the Knight and you're holding this anxiety. Because things are out of your hands. But the more and more you lean into what comes next, the more manageable, the more quickly, the more doable everything seems with the Emperor and the Justice stuff. So the trick really is, how capable are you of releasing yourself from the things that you're currently involved in? Like, there's a lot of detachment that is needed here right now, because detachment is what's going to enable you to start taking action in the right direction. Okay, detachment is what is going to keep this going as it needs. See, the thing is that I don't think that you're doing anything wrong or bad, that this is going to move in the wrong direction for you. I really don't think so, although I think maybe you're worried that it might. I just really don't think it will. Because when the integrity and honor and dedication and commitment of the Emperor comes out, it's like you're not doing anything or contributing in any way that's going to make this go south. Right? Like, it seems like you're making the best decisions. You are tackling it. Now you may have made bad decisions in the past, which is why you're here in the first place. But from this point moving forward, it's all very forthcoming. It's all like, what you see is what you get. There's no hiding. There's no denial of anything. But I do think you wonder if that's going to be enough. Is it going to be enough? Is it going to work? Is this really going to close anytime soon? Because what I'm seeing is just things are just sort of open-ended. And I don't think you like that. I don't think you like that there's no resolution up to this point. Okay? And this certainly can stress anybody out, for sure. So, not to blame you there. All right, let's see what else comes out here, Leo. Okay. Seems like Libra season, as we make our way toward the end of Virgo and into Libra near the end of September, it's going to be a big turning point. Now, keep in mind that we have another new moon eclipse on the 21st of September, and I think it has a lot to do with this Strength Tower energy here. But as we move forward from where we are now, it does seem, see, this Nine of Swords, I think it's just natural, right? Just being a human being, things stress us out. We worry, we don't have control, so we're feeling all sorts of things. We're all in our head about stuff, a natural reaction to when we're dealing with things that are a bit beyond our control. That's why, again, you just want to lean more on this. But I don't think that you're going to be here that long, because I think you're going to have some answers. You're going to have some information. You're going to have some type of an awakening or an enlightening moment that says, okay, this is what I now know. And I think it does have to do with the justice, because I always look at the sword here in justice, and it really reminds me of this sword here. So there's often a connection in my mind with these two cards. So regarding what you're waiting for, regarding for the information or the institutions or whatever, the pendulum to swing, you are going to have some information that is going to be usable. And this is what you're going to take and run with. Again, this is a different storyline than what's going on here. I think you have two things happening. Nothing is going to stop you from this. This is free. This is straight, clear skies, smooth sailing all the way. There's no obstacles here whatsoever. So while you're doing that, this is another layer. This information, though, is probably going to require you to do something that's a bit difficult, okay? Because we see with the Strength card here. Now, good news is you're already operating with an Emperor regarding this, so you have that strength at your disposal. And I think the high vibrations of this Knight of Wands, Two of Wands, is going to really help with this as well. But I just don't think this is an easy decision. Like, there's clearly a decision or actions that need to be taken, and I just don't think they are easy. I think they're actually quite challenging in that they require a lot from you. And I look at strength and I think of courage, I think of bravery, and I especially think of perseverance. And we want to remember that there's like two aspects of self here. We have the higher divine, with the woman with the lemon skate ahead of her, on top of her head. She has the connection to the infinite knowledge, the infinite divine. And she is the one in control of the more lower vessel, which is our human self. And I think this is associated with our human self here. And so no matter what's being asked of you, there is a higher voice in your mind that says, I know that this is right. I know that this is good. I know that this is the solution. I know that this is what I must do. And again, I think detachment is going to be very useful here. Detachment is useful here with the Knight of Wands, and detachment is going to be useful as you start to really think about what needs to be done. Because it seems dramatic with this Tower, and I think the new moon in Virgo is going to bring with it some disruption. Now, this is probably a consequence of your decisions and actions with the Ace of Swords. It's probably purposefully destructive, right? Keeping in mind that Pluto is out of bounds, which means that he is very pure in his expression, and destruction is one of the things that he does best. So many of us are in a very destructive place right now. You especially, because Pluto is opposite of you. So you might be in a position where you are just like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just bring it all to the ground. I don't want to try to keep it up anymore. I don't want to try to keep it erected or to keep it standing. It's requiring too much of me. It's requiring too much money, too much resources, too much attention, too much of my soul. Like, I just don't have it anymore. And I think that's going to become apparent because this is so full of life that you realize that something is making you feel kind of dead inside. And therefore, you have to let it go. Therefore, you have to completely rip it to pieces. And I think you do this intentionally. I don't think for most of you, this is actually a surprise. It might seem like it initially, like, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that to happen. But if you sit in honesty, the way the Emperor would, and the Ace of Swords and the Justice really demand, if you sit in honesty, you'll probably come to the conclusion that, yeah, it's somewhere in my heart. deep within my heart, I wanted this to happen. And that's when you realize that it really is the deepest parts of us that manifests, right? That the deepest parts of us that actually brings things to fruition. Because I think this was wanted. I think this is what you, in a way, maybe not out loud, maybe not consciously, but in a way you asked for. Because to me, this feels like a massive elimination of something that just was weighing incredibly heavy on your shoulders here. Perhaps maybe the Emperor was like, no, I'm going to fight to keep it intact. I'm going to fight to keep it going. I'm going to fight to make it happen. But maybe that notion of just like, no, you're not meant to fight. You're not meant to try to keep it intact. You're not meant to try to keep everything. Maybe that is the part of you that knows it wasn't, it's not true. It's not true that you're meant to keep it intact. Feels powerful to me. Feels very powerful. And you're going to have to let something go with the Five of Cups. Again, detachment helps with this a lot, but I think there is going to be some form of sadness or melancholy or some kind of like, oh wow, this is really happening. It feels realistic. It feels like in the here and now. Like, oh wow, because it's one thing in theory. It's one thing in an idea, but to actually go through with it, to actually experience it, to actually have the tower happen, it makes it so real, and it makes you realize that there is no turning back. There is no rebuilding this tower. There's only building a new tower. And eventually that tower will probably come crashing down too at some point, but that's okay. That's the cyclical nature of life. And I think as we move into October, as we move into Libra season more heavily, you are absolutely going to realize that, that this ending, it happened. And that you're crossing a threshold. You're crossing over some powerful, it's almost like a rite of passage, right? Like you've earned your way into something. And perhaps maybe this tower was the demanded sacrifice that was needed. Because I don't know that justice is going to be all that friendly. I just don't know. I don't know that justice is, it's not a friendly card. Ace of Swords is not friendly either. And sometimes we try to make it friendly, but it's so neutral. It's like gravity. If you're a 2-year-old toddler and you jump off a cliff, gravity is going to do what it does. It's going to pull you down, right? It's not going to be like, oh, you're just so innocent. It's okay. I'm not going to work this time. I'm going to let you fly. It doesn't work that way. So it's just law. It's just natural law. And this is the way that it has to swing. And so, yeah, is it a bit harsh? Yes. But I also think in your heart that it's for the best and that you're actually relieved, because I suspect that it's going to alleviate a lot of responsibility. It's going to make you feel lighter, make you feel better, make you feel like you have a fresh start. And that's a good thing. That's never, ever a bad thing. My recommendation here, though, Leo, is to remind you, and I reminded you like 3 or 4 times already, but you want to lean into the Knight of Wands. This is the part of you that has the future. Because if you continue to look only at the thing that is currently falling apart, you're going to feel like you don't have one. You're going to feel like you don't have anywhere to go from here. But in fact, you have everywhere to go from here. And I think maybe on some degree, you were asking for freedom. You were asking for a fresh start. You were asking for something like that. And so this is you saying, okay, I'm taking that freedom for myself. I'm progressing. I'm moving on. And this is just the remnants. This is what was left. This is what was keeping that true freedom from coming to you. So again, if you really sit and talk to yourself about it, this will not have been a surprise. And you'll be like, yeah, of course that tower happened. Couldn't have happened any other way. But I think by the end of it all, you will feel so relieved and so at ease and so refreshed. Okay, we got 2. This is like the one card in this animal spirit deck that I really don't like, but it's the wasp spirit, and it's sometimes life stings. I think maybe Leo right now, you might be going through something that you're like, I really thought I was over this. I really thought this was done, and I really thought I was going to make it past it, but clearly here I am dealing with it. It's good that you're dealing with it because it's going to be eliminated once and for all. Okay, we have the canary, which says sing your own song, which is really the Knight of Wands, 2 of Wands spirit. Speaks to your creativity, your passion, your conviction. It's your chance to really rewrite this whole story. We don't often see readings that speak to a totally blank slate, but I think for you, Leo, this is a totally blank slate. A new romantic cycle begins. Now, I don't know that this is really about romance for many of you, although maybe it is for some. But if it's not romantic, it's just your kind of partnership with life, I would say. A new partnership with life begins. You get a new chance to do it again. Okay? All right, let's pull out the clarifiers. All right, Leo. So for those of you who are new to my channel, the cards I'm about to pull out are the cards we will cover in the comprehensive reading. So if you want to join me for that, the link will be in the description box in the comment thread down below. So let's see what comes through here with the Emperor. Starting with the world. Oh, beautiful. The world at the beginning and the end. So this whole month, the next 4 to 5 weeks, really is about a massive ending. King of Wands, another Leo card, and 6 of Cups. The Lovers, beautiful. 5 of Wands, 8 of Coins, Knight of Cups, 6 of Coins, 6 of Swords, beautiful movement going on there. 4 of Wands, 9 of Wands, Ace of Coins. Now for the 9 of Swords. 3 of Wands, Ace of Cups, and 5 of Cups. Page of Wands, the Moon. Wheel of Fortune, we have a King of Cups, a 3 of Swords, 7 of Coins, 5 of Coins, the Sun, and the Devil. Yeah, that tower's tough. For sure, that tower is tough. 4 of Coins, King of Swords, and another Emperor. Last but not least, we have the Queen of Cups, the 5 of Swords, and the 6 of Wands. All right, kind of a mixed bag of energy coming through here. So Leo, if you want to join to kind of get a deeper message, all the info down below. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great month, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.